cut a branch, and then all of a sudden you notice something like that, where you can look through that hole and you can see an old gallery. You're done. You don't have to peel the branch. Right? Here's some more woodpecker here. Right? So sometimes the branch, it's facing like this and it's up off the ground. You're looking at the tree going, oh, I don't see anything. As soon as you bring that branch down, you look on the top, you see woodpecker feeding, you see an old gallery, you're done.
Are there other insects that would be in an ash tree that a woodpecker would be going for, apart from them on the left? Or?
Yeah, there are, but you know, if you find the odd woodpecker, I wouldn't worry about it. But if, you know, generally they tear massive strips off the trees. So does everyone remember some of what I said earlier about where you start on peeling?
75 centimeters from the trunk.
Yeah. So you're going to go and you're going to take your branches right at the branch collar where it joins the main stem, and you're going to cut it off. So you can do, like you guys know how to cut branches, right? You do your undercut and then you do your overcut to get the branch off. You're only going to keep that first 75 centimeters from just ahead of the branch collar out. And you're going to discard the rest. And before someone asked the question, when we first developed this technique, we were taking branches up to 4 meters long. Most of them were about 3 meters. And every so often we would do like the first 25 centimeters from the branch collar, then we would go a meter and we'd do another 25, we would go a meter and do another 25. And then just recently, I would get 3 meter branches and I would peel the whole thing. Okay. And so what I wanted to find out was what part of the branch is attacked most, but also what is the probability that you would peel it here and not find it in this first bit versus it being further out on the branch. And very rarely was there ever a gallery further out on the branch if it wasn't found here. Okay, and not only that, but the number of attacks decreases from the base, what I call the base, where it joins the the branch collar, out towards the tip. So the number of galleries decreases with the length of the branch further out. So the other thing too that's important to keep in mind, where's my drum knife?
No problem, thanks.
The other important thing is on these branches, so you want to target branches, let's say just bracket it like 8 to up to 15 centimeters diameter. I mean, that's a worthy branch, right? You could burn it afterwards for heating your home. But if you're on the smaller side, because they're a lot easier to handle, and the probability of finding EAB in a branch that's 10 centimeters diameter, it's probably not all that different than one that's 15. So we tend to target, we used to target 5 to 8, we moved up a little bit. And one thing you notice on branches that are about 10 centimeters diameter is that the upper half of the branch tends to have coarse bark. Tends to have lots of ridges and knots and stuff like that. The lower side, if you remember this piece here, is a lot smoother. So when I was doing my branch peeling, I also looked at where the galleries were started. And twice as many galleries are started on this upper surface as they are on the lower surface. Which tells me that when the females are laying their eggs, they're laying them on the top of the branch more often than anywhere else. So when you peel, you're going to cut your branch, you're going to mark the upper surface of the branch with a little arrow or whatever. So when you start peeling, you're going to peel the top of the branch first. So you'll have twice as likely to detect it by starting on the top than you would if you did on the bottom. All right? So for this, it's quite simple. You're just going to... Could I get someone to just push the pressure on me? So all you're going to do is try to take that outer bark off first. You're supposed to hold it.
No, you said hold this.
Yeah, but my ESP's not working.
I know.
So we use workmate vices. It's a good time to talk about vices. That, you know, they have those clamps and there's like a foot pedal that you push on and it crushes the branch in the jaw, so it works really well. And if you're making a bow, you've got something to work off of. So you just want to get this outer bark off first. You're not going to find much out there. The other thing you should do before you even start peeling is you're going to look for symptoms. So you're going to look for exit holes, those V-shaped exit holes. You're going to look for woodpecks, like there's a woodpeck right there. It doesn't look like it was very successful, but there is a woodpeck. Okay, there was one right here. So, you know, to me, based on the look of that one, I would have just said it's infested, and I would have moved on. And so you're going to get this coarse bark off, and then once you do, then you're just going to start peeling small strips until you get that wood curling. And you're not going to take anything thicker. And what I recommend doing is just going right on the top until there's the gallery already. Or is it not? Maybe not. Yeah, but what you're going to do is you're just going to peel the top first, get down to the wood. Okay, so once you're down to the wood, then I start going at an oblique angle. So you can see this is wood. This part here is the inner bark. That's where the galleries are going to be. Right? So if you go at an oblique angle like that, you're going to cut a gallery. So the galleries are going like this, but if you come at this angle, you're more likely to intercept a small gallery. So that's why I do that angle. Right? So I don't know why I'm doing the side, because I know there's something here.
And you're starting at the tree end of the branch and
The base.
trying to get out that first 50 centimeters?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this looks to me like something old. Yeah, that looks like a gallery there.
There's a little,
Yeah, it's a little wiggly, eh?
yeah.
So one thing that EAB does that I haven't seen too many other wood borers and ash do is their gallery is packed with sawdust. And then you get the S shape. But you don't always get that S shape right away. Sometimes they'll go straight. As they get older, then they'll make the S's. So this would be an old gallery. This wouldn't be a current year gallery. So maybe it was successful, maybe it wasn't. It looks like something happened there. But the trees tried to wall it in. That's a wound tissue.
Would that be part of the same?
It looks like it might be where it was pupated.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the pupal chamber there. So what happened is they did this, and then they just went on and they pupated there. Sometimes they don't always go into the sapwood. Sometimes they'll pupate right there, and then they'll come out.
But all that's a reaction from the tree trying to just seal it off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So early on, like when the trees are just getting attacked, you'll see some of that. But once they're getting pulverized by EAB, they don't have a chance.
Yeah.
There's no defensive capability of the tree. The other thing I would recommend is if you get a draw knife, only sharpen the top part of the edge. Don't sharpen the bottom part. The edge will stay sharp much longer. These are the, when we were first we were doing smaller branches, so I would just use my knife, get a paring knife. We order most of our stuff from Lee Valley, but there are other places that sell these. But since we've gone to bigger diameters, the draw knife is kind of the staple. So we do have some branches set up around the room. It'd be great if
Yeah, it's really great to watch somebody else do it, but it's really important for you guys to get a feel for it.
you've got to get a feel for the depth that you're peeling. Right? And so you want to be able to make sure that you're getting thin enough pieces that they're curling. Right? You'll know because you'll see them curl. Bad time to do this, if you can imagine, you're trying to look in the sapwood or the inner bark for the signs of the gallery. So when would be a bad time to be doing this in terms of the tree? No, that's a good time. Spring, because what's going to happen? You're going to pull that bark and everything's going to come off, right?
Yeah.
That whole thick piece. There could be young galleries and small galleries. No one really talked too much about a 2-year life cycle, but the further north you go, the more likely you are to have a situation where in the first year the larvae only develops halfway, and they spend the winter as a larva instead of as a pupa. And then the next year they finish. So you make it like we would get situations in Sault Ste. Marie where you'd have these little tiny galleries, and then the tree would try to wall that off. And then all of a sudden you'd have the big gallery over here and it looked brand new. Right? So it's just,
Not
Jesus,
second year growth?
no, taking 2 years to develop. Right? So if you do that, so if let's say for example you're sampling trees that mainly have 1-year-old galleries. So say you're sampling in the fall and those larvae have only gone to second and third instar. the galleries are gonna be small. And so it's important to be able to get in that, take thin strips out of that inner bark. Down here, there's less of the population that does that. There still is a portion that takes 2 years. But, you know, by fall, generally, you've got fourth thin stars, pupae, pre-pupae, that kind of stuff. Really big galleries, J-shapes. You'll see where they've either gone into the wood or they're just pupating like this one on the outside. And the other thing is that when they do burrow in and you peel the bark off, don't think that's going to dry them out, because it won't. They'll survive that. Right? So debarking isn't enough. If you're thinking of shipping that stuff, it's and you want to make sure that the bugs are killed, you got to heat treat them. It's the only way. Okay, so help yourselves. You can finish this one off.